Okay, we're going to go over this homework that you guys had yesterday. Just want to let you do it on your own. So let's start with number one. So this is a square root problem. So in order to get rid of the square root, we're going to square both sides. All right, so 3 squared is 9. And then once you square a square root, remember the whole thing is square rooted. So we're just going to make all that disappear. Equals b minus 1. All right, let's add 1 to both sides. And we're going to get 10 is equal to b. Or you can use the symmetric property, b is equal to 10. All right, number 2, let's look at that. It's also a square root, and the whole thing is square rooted, so it's isolated already. So let's just go ahead and square both sides. And I'm going to go this way so I have more room. So 4 is on the left, and then all you're left with is x over 2. All right, because these two guys disappeared. All right, now we're going to go ahead and undo. It's x divided by 2, so to get rid of that division, you got to multiply, and you're going to get 8 is equal to x, or x is equal to 8. There you go. All right, let's run down here to number 3. Same thing, it is a square root. So it's already isolated, so all we have to do is square both sides, and we get 25, because 5 squared is 25. These two things disappear, and we're left with r minus 3. Once you add 3 to both sides, you're going to get 28 is equal to r, or we can switch it around and do r is equal to 28. All right, let's do the next part. Oh, I've got that little thing there in the middle. I'm sorry. I meant to erase that. All right, so this shouldn't be there. All right, so now we wanted to isolate our square roots on number 4, and they are, but there's one on each side, and that's fine. Let's go and square both sides. That's basically going to make all this disappear, and we're left with 2m minus 6 is equal to 3m minus 14. This is just like our example we did. All right, so now I'm going to subtract my 2m. Just because it's smaller than 3m, no, ignore that. All right, and that's going to give you negative 6 because these two guys cancel out. And then 3m minus 2m is just 1m. And remember, this is a negative 14. And it needs to come down here. So we're going to bring it down here, minus 14. So if we add 14 to both sides, we're going to get 14 plus negative 6 on the left, and that should give us an 8. And m is equal to 8. All right, let's scroll down. Let me see if I can get to the next one. I'm not sure if I can. Oh, here's number 5. All right, number 5 is just over here, stuck up here under number 3. All right, so both of these are being, I'm going to erase this real quick so you can see the whole problem really well. All right, so both of these are being raised to the 1/2 power. And they're both isolated, so there's not much you can do with that until you just get rid of, now you have to multiply by the inverse exponent. Well, the inverse exponent of 1/2 is 2. And you're going to multiply this by the inverse exponent, and so that's a 2. They have to be the same. If they're not, we got other things we got to take care of. So now, basically, you're just going to cancel out your exponents, and whatever's left over is what you write. So 6b comes in here, and then 8 minus 2b. I'm going to move my smallest variable, so my smallest variable is negative 2b, so I'm going to move it over. And I get 8b is equal to 8. So if 8b is 8, we know that 1b is equal to 1. All right, let's go finish up to number 10. So I didn't have a number 6, so we start with number 7. All right, so very first step is to isolate your exponent, and it is. So we're going to multiply by the inverse exponent. The inverse of 3 over 2 is 2 over 3. Sorry about that. And another 2 over 3. So again, once you get your inverse exponents in there, you can cross them out. And whatever's left, you go ahead and write, and it's just x. And then 27 to the 2 divided by 3. Now think about this. You're taking the cube root of 27, which is 3, and then you're squaring it, so it's 9. And that's your answer. X is equal to 9. All right, look at number 8. Same thing. All you have to do is get this exponent alone, and it is, so we're just going to raise it to the inverse exponent, and that's 4 over 3. Going to raise this to the 4 over 3. Go ahead and cancel these exponents out here with the variable, so we're left with m. And then 4 over 3, it's going to be something bigger than 27, right? So cube root of 27 again is 3. And then we're going to raise it to the 4th power, so it's 81. All right. And if you're not sure how to do that in a calculator, you just do this. 27 raised to the 4 divided by 3. And you should get 81 out when you do that. All right, jump on down here to number 9. All right, again, isolate your exponent, and it is. So we're going to go ahead and raise it to the inverse exponent. And that is 2 over 3. And that's a 2 over 3 over here for 64. All right, on the variable side, you can just cancel out your exponents. And you're left with n minus 27. And then we've got to go find 64 to the 2/3. So we're going to take the cube root of 64, I think it's 4. And then we're going to square it, and that gives us a 16. All right, add 27 to both sides. And you're left with n equals, I think that's a 43. I think, yes. Okay, go on with one last one that we've got. Now, this one's a little trickier because you're isolating. You want to isolate. So this little guy is not in that exponent. So we need to move him. So let's move him over to the other side. We're going to add 1 to both sides. And you get 27 is equal to 27x, all raised to the 3/4. So now your exponent is isolated. Now we're going to raise everything to the inverse exponent. So 4 over 3. Sorry about that. 4 over 3. It happens when I get too close to the edge here. All right. And then 4 over 3 over here. So we know what 27 to the 4 over 3 is by now. We should know it's 64. All right. And then these exponents are going to cancel out. And we're left with 27x. Okay, now we're solving the equation. We're going to divide by 27. I think this is where you guys were asking me if you're going to get a fraction. It looks like you are going to get a fraction. I think that nothing goes into either one of them. I don't think 9 goes into 64. I don't think they can be reduced. 27 doesn't go in. So whatever that's going to be, hold on, let me get my handy dandy calculator out here. All right, 64 divided by 27 is 2.37. Go ahead, get bigger here. Go back. All right, well, I'm not going to worry about it. 2.37. All right, you get the idea. I don't know what happened to my screen. All right, that's it. So after we check our homework, we're going to go learn a different way. All right,